This is All 32 Picks and IPA, your NFL and craft beer fancast with your hosts Adam Emmert, Brendan Schultz, and Jared Tim. Play along at picksandIPAs.com/join. Hooray football! Hooray beer!
Welcome to All 32 Picks and IPAs. And I'm getting tired of deferring the introductions, but Adam Emmert, this week's winner.
Pick better. You know why the introductions always go right? Because I'm always on top. I crushed you guys this week. Just like I crushed you, Brandon. And I crushed you equally, Jared, as you and Brandon tied. Jared, Tim, Broncos fans joining us as well.
I'm ready to drop some knowledge this week. I feel better. I've been scoring 70s. This last week I scored an 80. I'm going to increase by 10 every week and just steadily get better. So everybody should listen to me. I know a thing or two.
Maybe by the end of the season, you will have all games picked correctly.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Uh-huh. Well, let's hope so because, man, I basically doubled your guys' score last week.
And I'm Brandon Schultz, and not only am I embarrassed at tying with Jared, but I'm embarrassed because my middle daughter doesn't know the proper name for Twinkies. She calls them golden cakes.
Wait. This is something. You're going to have to nip that right in the bud, dude.
I think that's a parenting problem.
Yeah.
I know. As soon as I recognized it, I had to fix it.
Well, good. Okay. I saw an ad for fried Twinkies the other day, like that you can buy at Walmart.
I saw the same one.
What?
It must have been during a football game.
Yeah.
I thought you could only
fried
get those
Twinkies.
at the fair.
You shouldn't be able to get those anywhere. That's an abomination. We wonder why we're all fat and can't fit in an airplane. Like that's why.
Yeah, but how do they taste? Are they delicious?
I don't know.
That's the question.
I don't know. I won't. It's a lot like meth, right, Brandon? Like, you know that it's probably a good time, but it's horrible for you, so you can't do it. Same thing with the fried Twinkies.
Cheers, guys. Let's drink some beer.
You bet. What beer are we drinking this week, Brandon?
This week, we are drinking a Scotch ale of some sort from Church Street Brewing Company. It is the Shony Scottish Ale.
The tail of the Shony Scottish Ale. Yeah, we'll get more into this. I'll just stay straight up. I don't like Scottish ales, so this is going to be a struggle for me.
Okay, well, you'll get through it. You'll make it. It's beer.
Fine, it's still beer. That's right.
You've struggled through worse things in life.
You're right. I was married once, so that was definitely a struggle. All right, guys, let's say we get into the picks.
It's time to lock in this week's picks.
All right. First up, now, before I tell you what the teams are, I want to present it to you guys like this. One team, Team A, is 7th in the league in total offense. One is 25th. Team A is 11th in total defense. Other is 10th. One team is 4th in the league, Team A, in passing. The other is 25th. Who would you pick out of those two? Team A or the other team?
Well, when you put it that way, Team A is the obvious choice. You didn't give the Team A being on the road or versus Team B at home.
Right. But, I mean, that's
Does
just
that count
be
for
the
anything?
logical option here.
right. Team A is the Chicago Bears. Team B is the Green Bay Packers. Think about that for a second. The Chicago Bears are 4th in the league in passing, and the Packers are 25th. Hoyer, the Destroyer, 4th in the league. Aaron Rodgers, 25th as a team. Can you believe that? So that's why this is my risk pick of the week. I'm going Chicago Bears.
You don't even know the percentages, Adam.
No, but it's got to be a risk pick.
This will blow you away, the percentages. 96% with the Green Bay Packers. Only 4%. After the statistics you just laid out, 4% with the 1-5 Chicago Bears over the 3-2 Packers.
So Aaron Rodgers says he's just, quote, a bit off.
A bit, well, something's a bit off. And I don't know if he's ever going to get a bit on. I mean, it's been week after week now. And I'm still not 100% sold on this Dallas Cowboys team. I still think they're riding high off their young team, their young quarterback. And by blowing out the Packers, I still don't think they're great as much as the Packers are just really bad at this point. So, you know, when I looked at this, I was stunned at that percentage, Brandon, when you read it, because I was actually having a tough time picking this one. I was like, well, Green Bay can't do anything right. And Chicago's actually got a tiny bit of momentum going. But since you use this as your risk pick, I have to go with the home team, and I'm going to get this one right. I'm going to gain one on you right away. Green Bay.
No Eddie Lacy, Brandon.
I mean, I don't think that we have to take the home team just because Adam uses this as his risk pick. We just have to.
We just can't.
We have to take another game as our risk pick, right? We just can't. Adam just jumped right in early and stole it.
Yeah,
like an ass.
Because I knew better.
Well, I was duped into mine last week by Brandon because he pulled a fast one on me.
Well,
but no Eddie Lacy.
Here's the thing, Adam. No Eddie Lacy. They brought in Niles Davis from the Chiefs, traded for him. Or is it Niall Davis?
Niall Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No say Niles because it's easier.
Yeah.
Niles.
Yeah. It's not the dude from Frasier. It's not Niles.
Yeah.
It's Niall.
Niall.
One thing that you didn't say, though, Adam, Chicago Bears, their offense, 31st in the league in scoring points, 16.8 points per game.
But they're awesome between the 20s.
They are awesome between the 20s, and that's the reason why I'm going Packers. You look at the Bears offense is impressive for the amount of numbers that they're putting up, but to only scoring under 17 points per game while the defense is allowing almost more than 3 touchdowns, almost 24 points. It makes it easier for me to go Packers, and especially with this being your risk pick. I'm going with the 96%, going with Green Bay.
Probably a good pick, but I just thought that was, if I'm going to hang my hat on, one team as my risk pick, like, why not?
Yeah, you could pick one up on the rest of us. That could be a win for the Bears. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bears won. I'll say that.
Because Dallas just moved the ball all over the field on the Packers like it was nothing. That defensive backfield isn't good. And I think they lost Sam Shields as well. And that's the other thing you look at this game. The injury report, it's like the walking wounded. So
yeah.
Good
Dak
luck.
Prescott was fairly impressive.
Yeah.
He's making some good throws. Moving in the pocket well.
Well, let's move on to the next game here. New York Football Giants on the road to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Jared, what you got?
Well, I still don't know who the Rams are. And this is this team every single year. They'll win random games. They'll lose random games. I don't really know who they are. But I believe in this defense to get some turnovers from Eli Manning and to actually put some pressure on him a little bit. I know their pass rush hasn't been, up to par of what it's supposed to be, but I think they can get it done against this Giants team. The Rams are at home. I'm going with them.
Ooh, big mistake, Jared. Big mistake, because my jinx of the Rams continues. They lost again to the Rams last week to the Lions because
Rams lost to the Rams?
The Rams,
wow.
they are that bad that they can lose to themselves. No, the Rams lost to the Lions last week, and so I'm going to allow this streak to continue. Adam, you would be smart to go with the Giants, and the 53% user consensus on their end, only 47% with LA.
I didn't need you guys to tell me it was smart to go with the Giants. Look, the Giants are still third in the league when it comes to passing. And you're right about the Rams pass rush. It hasn't been there. And not only that, but the Rams are down Tremaine Johnson. I mean, that's a big loss for them.
But keep in mind, the Giants might be out Odell Beckham Jr.
What? When
He's
did that
got
happen?
a hip injury.
He just left practice early.
He's a bitch. He's out because his uterus is sprained.
He'll play. He'll play, and he'll play well. And not only that, but Victor Cruz and Sterling Shepard are still good receivers as well. So I'm going to go with the Giants. Plus, Janoris Jenkins, the big offseason signing for the New York Giants. He knows that LA Rams defense inside and out. He's got insider information for Ben McAdoo on the LA Rams. I'm going with the Giants.
Well, hopefully they use it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hopefully Eli Manning can stay upright. That's what I would be worried about in this game.
Yeah, no, I am very worried about that.
I never worry about Eli Manning. I just don't care about
He gets shell shocked so easy.
Yeah.
And it's just one Robert Quinn, Aaron Donald hit, and that could be curtains for this pick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, guys. Minnesota versus Philadelphia Eagles. The Purple People Eaters take on a rookie quarterback, Brandon.
Yeah, that defense. I'm a believer in this defense so far from what I've seen. Top 2 or 3 in the league really, I don't suppose it matters what order you put them in between Denver, the Seahawks, and Minnesota. They're clearly the 3 best defenses in the league. I like the defense against the young quarterback and Carson Wentz. Solely on that, I like Minnesota going into Philadelphia and picking up the win. 82% on board with me, only 18% with the Eagles. Jared, if you want to take this one as your risk pick.
Not going to do it. Nope. I mean, Philadelphia's defense has been exposed the last couple weeks. Everybody can have a heyday on them, including the great Sam Bradford. I mean, he's actually playing okay. Yeah. And against a bad defense, I think he's going to play pretty well. And Brandon, I'm with you. I'm sold on this Vikings defense. I mean, they get after the quarterback and they stuff the run. They're a good defense. They're easily a top 5 defense or top 3, like you'd said. I'm going with them on the road because I just don't see Philly having that much talent. I mean, they looked good in the beginning, but you're starting to see their lack of talent all over the field now. And a good rookie quarterback can only get you so far. And I think we're starting to see that.
Yeah, there's been enough tape out on Carson Wentz for teams to be able to key in on him, considering that their run game isn't exactly stellar. I mean, sure, you got Darren Sproles doing scat back things and all that, but in really the Philly defense, I mean, you've got a couple stud players, but then at that point, it's just a bunch of nobodies kind of filling in around them. And even though Minnesota can't run the ball, and I don't know that they're going to run the ball much against Fletcher Cox in that Philly defensive line, I think Sam Bradford will do just enough to get his revenge on Philly for giving up on him early. Although, is it revenge? Because, I mean, he keeps getting them checks, from each one of these.
Keeps getting them wins, too, because he's amazing.
Man, the thing about this Minnesota... Yeah, well, you get out of here with that. So, here's the thing with this Minnesota defense. I think they're pretty darn good, no doubt. But somehow they got a lot better during the bye week. Like, they went from just being really good to, legendary over the bye week. Like, everybody... I mean, let's slow our roll a little bit. But, yeah, I'm still going Minnesota.
Slow your roll. You're the one calling them the purple people eaters.
Well, just because it's a great alliteration.
I like how consistent they are on defense. That's how you know a defense is really good and they've kind of hit their stride, as they're consistent every single week.
That's a good point. All right, let's talk about a couple teams that aren't super consistent and difficult to figure out on a day-to-day basis. Indianapolis Colts, Gerrad, go on the road to take on Super Mariota in the Tennessee Titans.
Possibly the best quarterback in last year's draft.
Certainly the best.
I don't know if I can go with that because the humility thing I tried it only got me 10 points, so I don't really care about that anymore.
That was 10 points more than you were getting
that
before.
I didn't have.
Yeah.
So Indy blew a big lead over a pretty mediocre Houston Texans team, and Brock ended up playing pretty well against them in the second half, but he hasn't played well against a decent defense yet. And man, there are still a gazillion holes in that secondary. I mean, Vontae Davis being back helps out a little bit, but I think Tennessee, I'm going with them at home because Andrew Luck had to do a lot on his feet. His receivers aren't creating space, not even against bad defenses. So I'm going Tennessee at home.
Even with teams keying in on the smash mouth football that the Titans play, Mariota has kind of risen to the challenge the last couple of weeks and had some really good games and some good performances. I like the Tennessee Titans here a lot because Indy can't finish. I mean, if we know anything about a Chuck Pagano team at this point, right, is that they'll play great for 3 quarters and they'll find a way to goof it up in the end. I mean, they're basically the AFC South version of the Chargers, Brandon.
Yeah, and people are realizing that too. Whereas I think a lot of people are on the Andrew Luck hype train. They're realizing that he doesn't have anything around him right now. Only 37% with the Colts. On the road, they like the home team. 63% going with Tennessee. I also like the Titans at home.
All right, guys, this turned into a little bit of an interesting game. The next one up here on tap. The Buffalo Bills go on the road to take on the Miami Dolphins. Brandon, we saw the Dolphins house the Steelers last week because maybe 7 people in the country picked that, and that's probably because they just happened to click on the wrong team by accident. How did that happen? I mean, and do we think the Bills are as good as they've looked the last few weeks?
Yeah, that's one of the tough things with this game, right? Do you go with the Buffalo Bills that are streaky and have won 4 straight? That defense, I like the fact that the Bills are showing they have a solid defense now. And ever since firing the offensive coordinator, it seems like Buffalo's running the ball, right? So for those 2 reasons, I think I like staying with Buffalo here, even though it's a little bit tempting to go with the risk pick in Miami on this one. Maybe Gerrad will take this one. I don't know.
Is it in risk pick territory? Are we that low?
15% with Miami. I'm going to have to see what Gerrad says. I may take this one with the Dolphins being the home team, but for now, I'm going with 85%, going with Buffalo.
That's pretty tempting to do a risk pick here, just because who was Buffalo's most quality win in this win streak? A Tom Brady-less Patriots, right? I mean, they've been running the ball on pretty mediocre defenses. So I'm not completely sold on these guys either, but I do think that they seem to have some sort of chemistry going on, whatever it might be. And they seem to be playing together, where before it seemed like 11 separate guys on the field, both sides of the football. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. So I think I'm going to ride Buffalo on this one. And I'm not going to take this risk pick because for some reason, I think Brandon was just trying to get me to do it, and that's a bad idea. And I'm not going to do it again.
This is why he was trying to get you to do it, Brandon, or Gerrad, is that basically the Bills are number 1 in the league in rushing, and the Dolphins are giving up 147 yards per game on the ground. This plays right into Buffalo's strength. And look, their new offensive coordinator has been creative. I've been impressed by the way that he gets the run game going through a lot of different looks. He's got Tyrod Taylor playing at the top of his game, giving him the types of plays that he can succeed at, getting out of the pocket and surveying the field. And plus, fuck the Finns. I hate them. This has to be Buffalo all the way. Buffalo, Buffalo, Buffalo. All right, guys, let's talk about beer.
Next up, this week's beer review.
Well, this week we are drinking the Shony Scottish Ale from Church Street Brewery. It says, in centuries past, to ensure a plentiful crop, the Celts would donate a variety of malts for a community ale to please the Shony, a local water spirit. Sadly, the custom dictated that they throw it all in the ocean. Their traditional 80-shilling Scottish-style ale is a robust brew with notes of sweet caramel and mellow roast. Best enjoyed on land, not in the ocean.
I don't know what it is about Scottish ales for me, but it's almost like the aftertaste of a Scottish ale is a lot like whiskey a little bit to me. Like it tastes similar, and I hate that taste, man. Like I don't care what it is, and I've had better Scottish ales than this, but I can't get on board just because of the style of the beer as it all. It just has too much spice to it, if that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't.
It's kind of a. Okay. I don't think it has too much spice. To me, this is like Scottish ale light compared to what I'm used to with the cold smoke Scottish ale. This is like that one's heavy and thick, more like a Guinness, and this seems a lot more like a light Scottish ale. Yeah,
it's not as thick. You're right about that.
I do tend to like Scottish ales, but maybe that's why, is I am a whiskey fan. I like whiskeys, and I like the darker finish of these. I like a little bit of a coffee hint. I think that's what Cold Smoke has, Brandon, and maybe that's why I like it more. But this one, it even has a low alcohol percentage for most Scottish ales. Most of them are right around between 6 and 7. And this is down at 5.1. It does seem a little bit watery to me. I wouldn't actively pursue buying this beer.
Gerrad likes it more thick.
that is a true fact right there. You heard it here first, folks.
Well, I think that wraps it up. Everybody have a good day.
But yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite, which is okay. We can't have everyone be winners.
They
right?
can't all be winners.
Well, and this is the last of the Church Street beer that we had. Their Continental Lager was the one that we had a couple weeks ago, and
that was delicious.
We mentioned that on the bottle it said crafted to remove gluten. Yeah, right on the label. We talked about that. We got an email from Muddy Lee. Says there's an enzyme some beer producers use to clarify the beer. Keeps particulates from suspension. The way it works by breaking down proteins into smaller pieces that can't suspend in the beer. And one of these proteins happens to be gluten. So now the beer producers put that on the label as a selling point. And says that no beer starts with a gluten ingredient can call their product gluten-free. So even if all the gluten's been removed, and in order to call anything gluten-free, there can't be any gluten as part of the recipe. So he says, thanks for the great show. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
All right. That was I like the little tidbit there.
Yeah, that's from Mark Law.
Muddy Lee.
Muddy Lee. Oh, okay. Well, I totally got
you got the initials right.
Right. Yeah, that's because I'm already a beer in. But wow, thanks, Muddy. I appreciate that. Because that was confounding to all of us. So that's a great nugget there.
You know what I feel about this beer? I feel like if you're a brewery, you have to have like 6 beers. And they had maybe 4 or 5 decent ones. They're like, well, let's just do a Scottish ale and put it out there.
Gotcha. Now, see, here's the thing. Like, If you happen to homebrew this, you'd be proud as punch.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
It doesn't add up to my homebrewed hard cider that we had this last week in
Holy
Milwaukee
smokes,
football.
man.
I think that turned out about 10%.
If I sounded a little fuzzy on the details of the Hawks Falcons game, it's because of the cider Jared brought over. Holy smokes, man. Put you right on your ass.
That's what it ought to do.
I'm okay with this one by itself. I don't think I would drink. I don't think I would have this with anything to eat. I think it's just. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm not fine with? The next game. Because I hate both of these teams.
This is a tough game to pick too.
It is, because Baltimore fucking screws me every week. I picked them last week. They go up against the Giants early and then choke it away somehow. One of my 3 losses last week. Thanks a lot, Flacco. But then they take on the New York Jets, who are a dumpster fire, Jared.
I don't know if I lost the Baltimore pick last week, but I bet I did. I just the Jets have completely underachieved as far as a defensive team and offensive team. I really thought that they should be better than this. And I feel like Baltimore is that team that has overachieved. So this makes it for me a difficult game to pick. And I'm not going to watch it. That's what I do know. But I don't know how to pick this game because both of these teams are not doing anything that I thought they were going to do. So, which is not a big surprise to anybody who has seen my picks. I'm going with the Jets because they're at home.
Well, that can officially be your risk pick, Jared, because they are only pulling 19%.
Yeah, doing it.
There it is.
Yeah.
81% with the Ravens.
So who do you got then, Brandon? Because this to me, I think Jared kind of summed up my consternation about this game. I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, the Ravens neither team seems like they really want to win. Ravens have had a couple games where they just haven't been able to finish. Maybe this is the one they do it. 81% think that the Ravens are going to win on the road against the Jets. I have a hard time doing it, but I'm picking Baltimore.
It's the Geno Smith show this week, boys and girls.
Is it for
There's
sure?
no tape on him yet.
I know initially coming out of that game, Coach Bowles said that he thought Fitz was still going to be the starter, and then the next day he backtracked and said he liked what he saw from Geno. Has he officially named him the starter?
This is just in the NFL rumor stream, okay? Like that's all I know. Fuck Baltimore. I'm picking the Jets. I don't care.
Does it matter who starts at quarterback? Really?
I don't know. I just get the feeling that the Jets defense, especially that defensive line, is giving up on the season.
Yeah.
They're better than what they show like week in and week out. Yet somehow with that amount of talent, not doing anything with a guy who's supposedly a good defensive coach. I can't quite figure it out. And I mean, maybe it's a product of the fact that their secondary is terrible. I mean, Darrelle Revis is a shell of himself. Buster Screen is Buster Screen. And then what else do you got? But I'm taking the Jets because Geno Smith is going to get the ball to the dominant Quincy Enunwa down in and down out. That's how that's going to go.
That's a tough defense to send Geno Smith out to right away. Baltimore's defense actually playing pretty well.
Terrell Suggs is out. He tore his bicep.
Yeah, that's true.
No T Sizzle? Oh,
No.
yeah.
I mean, he was old anyways, but he was still playing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm liking my Jets pick more and more now.
Wasn't there the Baltimore corner? Did he get a concussion, or did he? Is he coming back this week?
Oh, Jimmy Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when that whole game turned around for me, is when he went out and Odell Beckham just started catching bombs.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I would expect him to be back. Yeah, I guess you never know with concussion protocol.
Okay. Well, I may flip mine due to injury, but for now, I'm going Baltimore.
That sounds like a wishy-washy
Baltimore
bullshit.
is going to win this game. They have the better defense. No matter who's at quarterback for the Jets, whether it's Smith or Fitzpatrick, they're going to throw about 4 turnovers to Baltimore.
Okay.
Joe Flacco in good position, going to throw at least 3 touchdowns.
Perfect. That's all I needed to hear.
I'm glad we spent 4 more minutes than we had to on this game.
All right. Well, let's move on to the game that's known only by its initials. NO versus KC. You got Jared.
I know Kansas City had a decent win in the rain over Oakland, but Oakland's defense is bad. and they still couldn't move the ball very well. I don't see Kansas City really moving the ball against New Orleans, who can hang 1,000 points on anybody, it seems like. Well, maybe not anybody. They haven't really played a great defense yet. You know, they haven't played the Vikings. They haven't played the Seahawks. They haven't played a superior defense just yet. But based on what New Orleans has done offensively, I don't think Kansas City can hang as many points as them. So I'm going with Drew Brees at Arrowhead Stadium. Fuck the Chiefs.
Oh. Well, we know where Jared's bias lies, and I'm kicking myself for not picking the Chiefs last week. I wanted to continue to do it. Now they're back at Arrowhead, the Saints, outside their friendly confines of their domed stadium. I think the Chiefs are a top 10 defense, so I like the Chiefs to shut down Drew Brees in the same way they shut down Carr last week. I'm going Chiefs along with 77%, only 23% with New Orleans.
This could also be a risk pick.
So, no, that's 2 percentage points above
risk 20%,
pick.
right.
Yeah.
I thought it was 25 was the cutoff.
25, right? Oh, I thought you said it was 27.
22.
It's 22. Okay, I got you. All right. Well, look, here's the thing. I just watched the Kansas City Chiefs play a team that looks a lot like the New Orleans Saints, and they beat them down pretty good. And because the thing is the Oakland Raiders are better than the New Orleans Saints. They're kind of built the same way. Not a lot of defense, a whole lot of offense. And the fact of the matter is that the Raiders actually can run the ball a little bit. And I'm not sure that New Orleans has that ability. I'm going to take the Chiefs at home because Arrowhead, motherfucker.
The Chiefs didn't play that well against the Raiders, though. I mean, I watched that game. They didn't look very good. It was a rainy, sloppy game. And I think if that game is played in good weather, I think the Raiders beat them.
The Saints don't play defense, though. I think Alex Smith can tear up the Saints defense just like Cam Newton tore him up.
He's not going to score 30 points, though.
They won't need to.
It's supposed
they
to be
will against New Orleans.
It's supposed to be 75 and sunny in KC, too. So good weather.
Drew Brees likes good weather. It'd be good for his deal.
Yeah, he doesn't like being on his back, though.
See, I don't mind being on my back. That means the other one's on top. That's fine.
I think that was the position that Odell Beckham took with the net this last weekend, too.
I'm over the net antics.
Yeah.
I really am. This is 2 weeks in a row he had to make amends with a net. Dude, nobody cares that much.
The first time was funny, right?
Kinda.
Second time was okay.
No, but see, this, if he keeps going, if he does it for every touchdown celebration this season, it'll start getting funnier, or it might start getting less funny before it gets funnier. But either way, I think he should keep it up.
Well, what? Wow, really?
Well, what else can you do?
do?
I'm curious to see what his creativity is.
I don't like him. I don't think he. I mean, I know he's got all these endorsements and stuff, but have you ever heard him talk?
Yeah,
or seen an interview? He has no personality whatsoever. And geez, all these corporations were hoping to God that he would have some life in him with what he says, but he is terrible, absolutely terrible as far as personality goes. And so he does these stupid little antics on the sideline. I'm like, I hate this guy, man. I hate Odell Beckham Jr.
Jared starts
Maybe
sounding
he's not
like
a bad dude.
Sounding like Pete Prisco.
I just don't like this guy.
I don't care.
Diva.
I don't care for him either. But he is a hell of a player. I mean, I know that much.
Yeah.
He's something.
Yeah. All right, guys. Cleveland versus Cincinnati. We watched Cincinnati take it to the Patriots for like 2.5 quarters, and then the Genghis said, "That's enough of that," and just put him down. Bengals at this point in the season 2-4. I think that surprises a lot of people. But the Browns 0-6. I don't see the Browns getting their first win. Do you, Brandon?
I do not. And this is going to be what the Bengals need to really bounce them back into contention for the division, because the Ravens against the Jets, that's not a gimme. So they could be to 3-4. If the Bengals get this win, they're at 3-4. And then coming up, we'll talk about the Steelers going up against the Patriots at 4-2. They could be down at 4-3 with a loss to the Patriots. So this could be a really close division. I like the Bengals to win this game along with 95%. Only 5% with the Browns.
Wow, that's about as close. That's even a little better margin than my risk pick of the Bears beating the Packers.
I'm going with Cincinnati too. I mean, when I watched them play, I watched that first half of the game against New England, and they had more opportunities to actually maybe try to get a lead in that game, but they just couldn't do it. They can't execute like they used to be. I mean, I kind of saw them being an 8-8 team just because their roster's been picked apart, But when they come up against a good team, it's obvious a separation between them and an elite team. And you're right, Brandon. It's going to be a close division just based on the fact that, well, now Big Ben is out. Baltimore, who knows? So they have to win this game. They're not going to drop it against Cleveland.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati's the team that you look at because the season's long, right? Every time we get to about week 14 or so, we look back at week 7 and it feels like a distant memory. You know, and you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe that team was in that position then. I think that's going to be the Bengals. I think they'll pull it together enough in that division that has all that turmoil in it to go ahead and get back in this and maybe even still win that division. And I think they start with this game. I'm going Cincy. All right, guys, this next game, I honestly, I have no idea what to pick in this game. It's Washington versus Detroit. And basically, these are the exact same teams to me. Now, they play a little different ball, but they're both the most mediocre football teams a person can imagine, Jared.
I'm with you. I don't know.
Can I help you guys out with the user consensus on this one?
Yes.
Okay. User consensus for Washington, 51%, Lions 49%.
Thanks, guys.
You're right. Thank you. Yeah. So did that help you, Jared?
Yes, it did. Since I am in the lower percentile of picks anyways, I'm going to go against the user consensus because that's my crew. You know?
Those are your people?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Detroit just because I think Stafford can have a good game against this Washington defense. And Washington screwed me over last week. I did not think they were going to pick. Adam did, and I was pissed at him. So I'm going to go against him again this week.
All right, this helps me. This helps me because knowing Jared's history, I'm going against his picks and going with Washington. And there's two things that Washington's been doing that I really like, and they've shown me week to week. I've been picking against them a lot, but there's two things that they do that I like, and that's one, play defense, and I really like Matt Jones as a running back. And I think those two factors, defense against the Lions offense and Matt Jones' ability to run against the Lions, is what makes me like Washington win this game.
Yeah, I like Washington too. I think Detroit kind of got away with one last weekend. And I mean, God, I hate putting my hopes on Captain Kirk, but I'm doing it again for a second week in a row.
This is a tough
You can put your hopes on Matt Jones. That's what I'm doing. I'm not putting it on Captain Kirk.
Well, here's the thing. If you're the Washington Redskins, this is an interesting question at this point. Do you pay Kirk Cousins this offseason?
No.
It's too early to make that decision. You don't have to decide until the end of the year.
I wouldn't do it. There's no way.
I've seen enough.
Well,
he's the exact same guy as he was last year. He's a middling quarterback. Why will you ever pay a middling quarterback? Get rid of him and tank the next year. Like, who gives a crap, man? Like, get it. You either have an elite guy or you got nothing.
He'll get Osweiler money at the very least. Maybe Tannehill money. It's probably about the same.
From who?
Somebody will pay him.
Yeah,
the Browns maybe.
Teams show an ability to overpay quarterbacks, but he's in the same league as a Fitzpatrick or an Osweiler. These guys who are so middle of the road.
I'm not ready to put Osweiler there.
But then they get this big time money, and it's just like it makes the teams who let them go look like geniuses because another team overpaid him. I think you're right. I think somebody's going to overpay him next year because he has these flashes where a team will probably think, well, he just needs some better coaching, and then he'll suck again.
True fact. All right. Oakland versus Jacksonville Jaguars, Brandon.
Well, I'm running out of opportunities for risk picks. I have 3 games that are under 20% user consensus. There's this one. I could go with the Jags. I could go with the Steelers at home against the Patriots, or I could wait and pick the Texans against the Broncos. I'm gonna use this one as my official risk pick. Jacksonville at home with the Raiders flying across the country after losing to Kansas City. I like the Jaguars offense enough maybe against that Raiders defense that I think they could put enough points on the board to make that happen. This could be a shootout, and that's why I'm picking Jacksonville.
I can't see this being a shootout at all because that Jacksonville offense is just it has the struggles, man. Like, I mean, I understand Blake Bortles got a late touchdown pass against, the Bears last week? I mean, Jesus.
I would be counting on the Jacksonville defense to get some turnovers from Carr and give Bortles a short field because if you're looking at the two defenses so far this season, Jacksonville at least is in the upper half, whereas Oakland is probably in the bottom 5.
That's all fine and dandy, but Bortles can't get it done against anybody. So I'm taking Carr, and I'm taking Oakland.
But if Bortles can get it done, it's going to be against Oakland.
You're so down on Oakland and the Chiefs and the Chargers. Wait, what do all those teams have in common? Oh, that's right. They're all AFC West teams.
But at least Jacksonville's got a secondary and a person who can guard Amari Cooper. You take Amari Cooper out of Oakland's equation on offense, and you can really limit what they can do. I mean, Brandon, I think you might not have the worst risk pick here. I don't see it being too far-fetched, especially since Oakland's got to travel across the country. But I'm still going Oakland because Jacksonville does suck pretty bad on it.
They are not. Their offense is terrible this year.
It is. I'm just trying to make a case.
No, that's fine. All right. Well, let's not talk about things that are terrible. Let's talk about winners. Who are winners this week, Brandon?
We have one winner atop the leaderboard. Adam, in the
Wasn't
Seahawks
it a tie?
No, this is not a tie. This is a flat out winner. And I know when we talked about it on the Seahawkers podcast, we only had people at 160, which is the level you were at. We have 170 points here in the All 32 Picks and IPAs podcast league.
There's somebody in the Picks league that's not in the Seahawkers league. That's interesting.
Every day I'm rustling, and it's a Seahawks name too, so I don't know why he didn't show up in the Seahawkers podcast league.
Yeah. Well, yes. he needs to wrestle harder and get in both leagues.
So congratulations.
Well, whatever. No, or he doesn't, because he beat me by 10 points for no reason. Who only gets 2 wrong in a week?
You want to know which 2 that he got wrong?
Yes.
All right, let's look back at week 6. Picked the Chargers picked the Broncos to beat the Chargers.
Sorry, buddy.
And, of course, the match that everybody picked and lost, picked the Steelers to beat the Dolphins, and the Dolphins
Those
won.
are very reasonable losses, so hats off to Every Day I'm Wrestling, because you were better than me last week.
And on the top of the leaderboard overall, AK 12th man, followed by Wideout 888, and in third place, Primo Hawk.
Wow. What are they all at for total points?
800, 790, 780.
800, huh? So I'm $130 out.
Yeah, I'm $190 out.
I don't know how far I'm out.
Way out.
A long ways.
Yeah.
A long ways.
Yeah. It's because you have such a shitty fandom.
Pick a new team and you might start doing better.
Yeah, we're reeling. Hey, man, we were out of quarterback. We were out of head coach for a couple of weeks.
Jump on the Vikings bandwagon, Jared.
Yeah.
No, we just got to get it back together. We'll be fine. I'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
All right, let's get this podcast back together and get back to picks here. Another initials only game, TB versus SF. And all I know is TB is a terrible disease, Brandon. You don't want that shit.
But it's still probably better when you visit Santa Clara, right? That's what makes every team seemingly better.
Yes.
This is a get right game for the Bucks. But it's gosh, this is tough. The Bucks haven't been great either. I look at the DVOA. Football Outsiders does the DVOA of teams. Both these teams, San Francisco ranked 27th, Tampa 29th, and it's at home in Santa Clara.
That's an advantage.
Because
the wine and cheese crowd.
Well, yeah, nobody will be there.
Maybe some of the Buccaneers are lactose intolerant.
Right.
Maybe this will be the week that no, people won't show up this week. I'm picking the Bucks because the Bucks have a rank of 23 in special teams. San Francisco ranked 27th. I think that's the edge. Go Tampa Bay. Looking at the user consensus, users agree 69% with the Bucks, 31% Niners.
I'm going to have to agree with you just on those special team facts alone. And I mean, yeah, Tampa Bay not doing much to impress me. But after the bye week last year, Jameis Winston played really, really well. Maybe it'll happen again. I don't know. Yeah. But so what does the SF stand for? Like, sorry, fans?
Super fragile.
Shitty fucks. I don't know.
Yeah, almost.
I don't know. But
how bad is the 49ers special teams to rank behind Tampa Bay and a field goal kicker that's only made half his kicks this year?
Yeah, go Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, go Tampa. Third best pick from that draft as far as quarterbacks go, because Trevor Siemian's still better even after his bad showing in San Diego.
Technically not a draft pick.
Well, no, but he was out of that draft class. I guess
he was a seventh rounder.
Oh, was he a
pick? Seventh rounder?
Okay.
I thought he was undrafted.
No, he's seventh rounder.
Ha! Yes, third best pick out of that draft. No, San Francisco's terrible, and I think Chip Kelly's looking back at Eugene quite fondly these days, and I think you could see him back there sooner rather than later, because I think the NFL thinks that his style of football really is just a joke.
Well, it kind of has been, and if you look at how far Oregon has fallen since he left, they're not even ranked anymore. They'd be more than happy to welcome him back. I think he's gone.
Well, and you got to do it before you don't have any credibility left, right?
Yeah,
and you're not even a hot name anymore. Because
Harbaugh went to Michigan and he was all right. He's doing okay. He was about to that point.
No, not even close. I think everybody looks at Harbaugh's firing and said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Oh, I would not want him as my coach.
Well,
he's a college coach at best. Like that's where he fits.
I'm not sure. I thought that he was a fine coach. I thought the problem in Niner land is Jed York and Trent Baalke, and I mean they haven't gotten better since Harbaugh left.
There's a lot of problems in Niner land. It was the move.
The move has a lot to do with it. They left all their fans up in San Francisco. Trying to get to the stadium is a mess. Like it takes you to try and get from. I didn't try from the San Francisco side, but I tried from the Oakland side, and I think I left an hour and a half before the game, and I didn't get there until halftime.
Wow. Holy shit! Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So they left their heart in San Francisco.
They did.
Oh, bummer. All right, guys.
I don't feel sorry for them.
It's not
at
that
all.
much of a bummer.
Yeah. That was one of those like throw-in bummers. Like you just say that's a bummer, even though you don't mean it. Like when you're trying to be good in conversation.
Here's my thing about San Francisco, and I'll make this short. They were a historic franchise, a very storied franchise, and they leave the city. Granted, they didn't go very far, but how can you do that? It's like the Steelers leaving Heinz Field or the Packers leaving Lambeau. They had a big history, and they just left. I don't know. They pissed me off because of that.
Whiff.
Like, what if the Seahawks went down to Tacoma? It'd kind of be weird.
It would be. Yeah,
It's true.
Kind of weird. Yeah. All right, guys. Moving on to the victorious San Diego Chargers coming off a Thursday night victory over the Denver Broncos, taking on the Atlanta Falcons, Gerrad, who were smothered for at least a half by the Seattle Seahawks and then choked it up in the end. Who you got?
San Diego still almost blew that game. We played the worst game in 2 years, and they still almost blew it. I mean, Atlanta, I got to give them a little bit of credit. When I actually compared this offense to what ours was in 2013 and those high-flying Peyton Manning offenses, but to be honest with you, they have shown a lot of grit, and they have an ability to adapt, actually. I mean, they were right in position to win that game against you guys after they beat us on the road. I mean, I think I have to start giving this team a lot of credit. Not just a little bit, but a lot of credit. I think they're actually legitimate at this point. And I think San Diego on the road, they won't stand a chance because this Atlanta team is actually fairly legit on offense. They actually have a grit behind them. They're not just this soft, high-flying finesse offense. They can actually play power ball, too, if they have to. So I'm going Atlanta.
Yeah, I've yet to see Atlanta play power ball against a good defense. They didn't play power ball.
Well, as far as holding up against a defensive line and not backing down from a defense, they haven't done that at all. I mean,
they made a couple good adjustments and played well for a quarter against Seattle. I think they're a playoff team, but again, I'll say it for the fourth straight appearance I've made on a show. They're a one and done playoff team, in my opinion. But that's still better than San Diego, who basically Mike McCoy looked like he needed some Pepto towards the end of that Denver game, man. Like that was excruciating. I was almost hoping, and I know this sounds crazy, that you guys were gonna hit a Hail Mary at the end there, and like they were gonna lose that game in spectacular fashion. But I'm going Atlanta, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm going Atlanta too. This was it. I was kind of curious to maybe take this one as my risk pick because only 8% going with San Diego. This is a type of game that I think could turn into a shootout. But if it does, San Diego has not shown to me that they can close out games. And like you said, Gerrad, they almost gave away that game against Denver. 92% going with the Falcons as they return home. I like Atlanta, but it wouldn't surprise me if this game ends within a field goal difference.
All right, guys, moving on to New England Patriots taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. No Big Ben. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
The thing I'm super impressed with the Patriots is they'll play with you, and then when it's time, they're going to go with the 2 tight end set and the halfback, and they're just going to tear you up. Tom Brady's just going to tear you up. The Pittsburgh can't have a chance with Landry Jones, right, Jared?
No, I don't think so. And it's a bummer that Big Ben's out for this game. I was kind of looking forward to this. I was really looking forward to this matchup, but the thing about it is Pittsburgh doesn't have anybody to guard Gronkowski, let alone Martellus. But it's just not going to happen. I'm going New England all the way. This isn't even a close game.
Yeah, New England all the way for me. Like you guys said, I think I used up my boomer on an Oklahoma quarterback already, so I don't think I can use it here for the Steelers.
You can't use it anytime on this podcast ever.
Ever?
Like you should just stop.
I just did.
I know, and it was gross. I threw up a little in my mouth.
85% with the Patriots, still 15% like the home team Steelers, but yeah, got to go New England here.
Yeah, I'm going New England, obviously, but that's the death lineup in the NFL, right? Like right now, when they go 2 tight ends, nobody's had an answer. I mean, it hasn't even been close.
Well, that's why they got Martellus Bennett, right? Because I mean, you have 2 solid receivers, and that pose matchup problems for defenses.
They wanted that second tight end that wasn't a murder. As long as they had that and he wasn't going to prison, they felt like they could win Super Bowls.
Can we do an over under this game on interceptions for Landry Jones? Can we set it at 2 or 1.5, or what do you guys want?
Yeah, you got to go on a half of some kind.
So we'd have to go 1.5 probably.
Oh, I'm taking the over.
Yeah, go 2.5. Go 2.5.
Okay, over.
That's close.
I'm still going over.
I'll go under because I think it'll be 2.
Well, look, okay, so the Patriots are going to get ahead by at least 2 to 3 scores by halftime. So Landry Jones is going to have to throw the whole second half. Keep that in mind.
That's true.
They might be able to run the ball effectively against New England. Maybe. That's why I keep it at 2. Maybe after 2, they just continue to run the ball. I'll take the under.
Okay. All right, guys. Sunday night game. This should be a fun game. Seattle Seahawks on the road to take on the Cardinals. Seahawks do love them, their primetime games. Brandon, I'll throw it to you here first.
Well, the Seahawks, I don't know if they scored fewer than 30 points the last 2 trips down to Glendale against the Cardinals.
The last 3.
Yeah. So definitely a stadium they like to play in and put up big points. And which shows you can put up big points on the Cardinals defense. We saw it. We've seen it a couple times this year, right? They as good as their defense.
33 to the Bills.
Yeah, exactly. So I like the Seahawks to go on the road and pick up another win because the Cardinals haven't shown they can beat Seattle in their home stadium in years now.
Jared?
But you guys, the Cardinals are back.
Right.
Did you not see the game against the Jets?
Amazing.
Yeah, they're back. I mean, in the beginning of the season, they were Super Bowl contenders. They had a little bit of a lull, but now they're back to being Super Bowl contenders. I'm going with Seattle.
I thought you were picking against Seattle every week.
I can't afford to give up anymore.
You are serious about getting into bonus for the
I need
scores.
to do better.
Yeah, you do.
I need to start at some point, and it starts here. I hope to God you lose because I pick them though. That'd be hilarious. But no, Arizona, they're still just not a contender team to me. I mean, they're a washed up team. They're old.
Russell Wilson has tortured this team year in, year out, and he'll do it again this year. And I don't see Carson Palmer having his way with the Seahawks defense. I mean, Matt Ryan was battered in the last game. And if Carson Palmer takes half of those hits, knowing that he's missing 2 of his starting guards going into this game, I'd be surprised. He won't survive the game. Drew Stanton's going to have to put his goofy sideline dance away and come out and get exposed as the fraud he is. I like the Hawks in this game. Big.
I was impressed with Matt Ryan's toughness to take that many hits, to be honest, in the first half.
Yeah, he got smashed, man.
He could have come out after halftime and just, turtled, and he didn't.
Yeah. Yep. I'm surprised. All right, guys, last game of the week. And Jared, you'll find this very interesting because Brock and Roll brings his Houston Texans in to face your beloved Denver Broncos on a 2-game losing streak.
Well, okay, first of all, what week are we in here?
Early. 7.
Look, I at this point, I'm starting to see enough of Brock Osweiler. The fact that he can't even throw for 300 yards in extra time against the worst secondary in the NFL, he still looks lost with his footwork. He's not making great decisions, and he's just targeting one guy. He's not spreading the ball around. I am still rooting for him. I know it sounds like I'm not, but I am still a little bit because I liked him with Denver. I thought he was a good dude, and he's from Montana. But look, I don't think it's really going to click for him with the coaching staff that he has. I think he's got all the tools. He's got a good arm. I don't think his decision-making is the best. And when he gets rattled, boy, he gets rattled. And for the last 3 games, we were without our starting quarterback the second half against Tampa Bay. We lost our starting quarterback the next game. In the third game, Kubiak was out, who is our main offensive play caller. I think this week we do need some consistency with our defense. That's been a pretty big problem. But I'm going Denver because we have all the pieces back, and I think we're going to start to solidify as a team. Well, we need to. And so this will be a good test in prime time. I'm going with the Broncos.
I'm going.
John Elway allow a loss to happen, Brandon?
No, he can't. He can't lose to Osweiler after letting Brock go to the Texans. As much of a Texans honk that I've been on the show, I have to pick Denver. 85% user consensus against the 15% Texans. Looking at DVOA again for Houston, they are ranked last in offensive DVOA. So wow. they showed it against the Colts, right? And for about, 55 minutes of that game. And that was hard to watch. And I was one of the few that hung in there. Texans fans in the stadium.
I woke up the next morning to a couple texts from you about the end of that game. And I was
proud of you.
Fuck. Yeah.
That's discipline,
That is good for you, man.
Well, judging about, I think 90% of the Texans fans in the stadium left before they saw Brock make the comeback victory. It was it was bad, and I could understand why they wanted to leave. That was a brutal offensive performance. And
you're at the game, you never leave.
It's true. You never leave.
I mean, and ask yourself this too, Brandon. Even the Seahawks are getting blown out. Do you turn the game off?
No.
I don't think I've ever done that.
No, never. And I know exactly why I never did. Because I watched my Buffalo Bills go down when I was 12, and to the Oilers in the playoffs with their backup quarterback at the helm and Frank Reich taking, and I was in tears at halftime, tears. And my dad walks in and says, "Turn it off. Ain't nothing gonna happen." And the Bills come back and win that game, and I got to shove it in his face. It was fantastic. I never turn off a game.
Oh, I remember that game too, because I was rooting hard against the Oilers because they had knocked out the Seahawks, I think, in the week prior before taking on the Bills. So I wanted the Bills to win that game, and they came back and did it. Yeah, that's why you never leave. There's so many opportunities for a team to get back in it, and knowing that Indianapolis has that just an awful defense.
Yeah,
I knew I thought it was possible. And plus, I had other things that I was working on too. So there wasn't anything else on TV. Come on. It doesn't mean that they're going to be able to. Brock won't be able to do it against the Denver Broncos defense, though.
Not if he couldn't do it against the Colts. Sorry.
Well, he did do it against the Colts.
I'm going with Denver. And look, I just don't see Denver losing 2 or 3 games in a row. That's really what it boils down to me, especially going home. I mean, I understand the defense has been exposed a few times here in the last couple games, and there's some soft spots there that teams can exploit. But I don't know that Brock can do that consistently enough with the coaching staff that he has around him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he looked a lot more competent last year because he had real coaches. Bill O'Brien's a shitty coach. Let's just figure that out once and for all right now. This isn't a Brock Osweiler problem. Well, this is a Bill O'Brien problem.
At least the one thing that they realized against the Colts is that if they handed the ball off to Lamar Miller, that allowed them to have some production.
Yeah. I don't see that helping them too much. I think Denver gets right in this game, and I hate doing it, but Denver Broncos win this game.
I hope they get right, but they've really got to shore some things up, man, as this season goes on. I mean, we have all the talent in the world, but we just can't seem to get that chemistry on defense going.
It's week 7.
So that's true.
It's week 7.
I got expectations. You know?
Kind of like Richard Sherman when they give up like 2 touchdowns, suddenly he loses his mind about
Don't
life.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Can't give up touchdowns.
News and interesting topics from around the NFL.
All right, guys. Should we get to some headlines? Anybody got some topics they want to bring up?
No.
Jared brings nothing again.
We talked about everything.
No, we have not.
What do you got?
All right. The Steelers go out without Big Ben for 2 to 6 weeks is the prognosis. Is there any way the Steelers make the playoffs despite their strong start? I mean, do you think they can weather this storm? Because this is every year, right, with Ben? Like, Ben gets hurt for a few weeks and either the Steelers make it or they won't. Do they make it this year?
I think they make the playoffs just because Cincinnati is a very questionable team. And I think Baltimore at some point, they are just going to tail off because they're going to start playing teams that are like, okay, they can't keep winning these random games that they should lose. They weren't that undefeated team. And yeah, I think the Steelers definitely make the playoffs. And I think they're going to be a legitimate contender once he comes back. Because you're right, they do this every year.
So there's 2 wildcard teams every year, correct? Yeah. So basically what you're saying is, because I don't think the Steelers win this division. I think the Bengals end up winning this division with Ben. If he misses closer to that 6-week stretch, they don't win this division. That means they're competing then with either the Bills or either the Chiefs or Oakland for that other wild card spot. I don't know that they make it. In fact, I don't think they do, which is stunning to me as the Steelers were my AFC Super Bowl pick.
I'd have to look at their schedules.
Well, it has to. Yeah. I mean, your Super Bowl pick was contingent upon Big Ben being healthy,
which was dumb. Yeah.
And well, I don't know. It seems like he can play hurt, obviously, because he came back into this game last week. It gives the Bengals a chance to get back in it after their shaky start, right? The Bengals actually have a really favorable schedule in their second half. And so they could go on a run. This could be the Bengals division now that Ben's out.
I think it is. That's just my gut.
And they'll be one and done in the playoffs.
But Landry Jones.
Yeah, I know. But Landry Jones.
Well, Le'Veon Bell, I mean, if and they have a running game, maybe if he can just figure out how to hand the ball off to the 2 backs that he has, D'Angelo Williams and Le'Veon Bell, maybe their
defense isn't good, though.
No, but if you can run the ball effectively, the defense doesn't have to be out there that much.
Hopefully. It's looking bad.
Man, if I'm playing Pittsburgh's offense right now, I got 9 guys in the box every single snap.
Every play. All right, guys. So speaking of quarterbacks, Dak wins in Green Bay. 5 in a row. Romo comes back. Romo don't come back.
I've been saying this for a couple weeks now. I keep playing Dak Prescott.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. Yeah, you got to stick with the hot hand.
Have you changed your tune, Adam Emmert? Is there humility coming out in your voice?
I'm getting closer to having humility. But no, I still think you go with Romo. I mean, because I think he's the more polished quarterback. He's the better quarterback. Why do you not put the better guy in when it comes time?
How many wins does Romo have in the last 2 seasons?
Well, the season before last, he was hurt for the majority of it.
How many does Dak have? A lot more.
2 seasons ago, they won the division. Last year, he got hurt.
Dak's the winningest quarterback in Dallas history the last 2 years.
Except for...
I'm going with him, man. I would go with Dak Prescott. There's no doubt about it at this point. He goes into Green Bay not phased at all and actually plays a good game.
So you look at Tony Romo in the eye and say you're not coming back?
Later. You're moving on next year, and we are taking Dak at a discount.
Later. Well, of course you're moving on next year. I'm not talking about next year. I'm talking about the remainder of this year.
So just give it to him and say, fuck Tony Romo.
Wow. They're all the broken collarbones.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, if Dak Prescott ends up getting hurt and Tony Romo comes back in and plays well, he's a savior. The fans love him. The teams love him. You can ride him through the playoffs and then get rid of him anyways. You got nothing to lose if you keep playing Dak.
You got nothing to lose to put Tony back in. Because you got Dak there for the next season. Who cares? You give Tony his ride off into the sunset. He's probably the better quarterback. He has the higher upside for this season. And paired with that running game and a defense that seems to be playing well some fucking how. Why not?
Well, what they should do and what they will do are 2 different things. I think they're going to do they're going to handle it the exact same way the Broncos handled Peyton Manning. and have Romo come back in.
You're probably right, and they got nothing to lose if they do that. I mean, the team's going to be happy because they like Romo. The fans are going to be happy. Dak Prescott's not going to be offended because Romo's an elite quarterback. He's shown to be really, really good for a long time. I mean, so nobody's going to be offended if you play Romo. It's a very low-risk situation and also a very ballless situation if you bring Tony Romo back because you're not going to ruffle any feathers. Screw that, man. Keep Dak in. Piss everybody off.
I just think Romo's better.
Hey, guys, how does the Las Vegas Raiders sound to you?
Horrible.
Disgusting.
Look, as much as I hate the Raiders, they got a good fan base.
Mark Davis telling owners this week that he's filing for the Raiders to move to Vegas, and the Vegas apparently putting up $750 million for a new stadium.
Well, yeah, because they bilk everybody out of their money because they're dumb enough to go and gamble for some dumb fucking reason. Look, and the other thing is like with Oakland, like Mark Davis gets up there, he gave a 5-minute presentation on why he's moving. That's it. Decision's made.
That's all you need.
He doesn't give a fuck about Oakland. Like, and it's a good city for football.
Yeah, well, they play on a baseball diamond. No wonder he doesn't care about Oakland.
Who fucking who?
Well, and look, I mean, you could take the Chargers away from their fans, all 20 of them that show up to game day, but the Raiders, man, they love that team.
Yeah.
The Oakland Raiders need to have a team.
Yeah. What town did the Raiders win Super Bowls in? Fucking Oakland. They're the Oakland Raiders. Like, that's who they are.
They're not the Los
And
Angeles
you say they
Raiders.
play on a baseball diamond now? Sure. Wait till they play on a sand dune in frickin' Vegas when they run out of fucking water.
When it's 120 degrees opening day.
It's so stupid, man.
Yeah. that could be brutal.
It's just bad. I'm not a fan of Las Vegas as a whole.
I hate
either.
Vegas and I hate the Raiders, but I like the Raiders more than Vegas, which is why I don't want to go there.
Wow. That says a lot. Now, and here's the bummer part for Oakland. Is Oakland a rich or a poor city? They're kind of a poor city. They're probably not going to be able to cough up 700 odd some million, so some billionaire can have a stadium built for him so his team can play there because he can't possibly afford it. And then their team gets taken away because they won't subsidize a billionaire with rich guy welfare.
Maybe the Raiders should move into Candlestick.
Is it still?
No, it's not there anymore. Yeah. There's condos there now.
They moved over to San Francisco.
I think Joe Montana was the first guy to throw a stone at Candlestick, like when it was done. He hated that stadium.
Okay, guys, how about this? Vontaze Burfict fined $75,000 stomping on LeGarrette Blount. He gets a fine instead of getting suspended, and then today at practice, injured and carted off. Karma.
Ooh.
Karma, big time. That guy
karma.
just can't get his head together.
He's a dirty player.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I never wish anybody harm. Like, I still don't wish him injury. But the idea that he got fined instead of suspended, absolutely fine him. What hurts these players more? Not playing a game or losing thousands of dollars? It's about getting them checks. This is show. It ain't show friends. It's show business. Look, it's like this is a business, man.
If you're a dirty player, karma's gonna get you. Just ask Aqib Talib. You just shoot yourself. It'll happen.
Maybe he shot himself. Maybe somebody else did.
Can't prosecute him.
He probably shot himself.
Yeah. He's an idiot, man.
He's a moron.
I mean, we talk about chucker quarterbacks. He's a chucker cornerback.
That's funny. He is all gamble. That's for sure. Okay, that's all I had. Do you guys have anything else?
I'm out.
I already said no.
Oh. Well, fantastic, Jared. Thanks for contributing.
You're welcome.
I think with that, there's only two things left to say, and that's hooray beer.
Hooray beer.
Hooray football.
Hooray football.
Go Broncos.
Join us on Facebook at facebook.com/picksandIPAs.